guy stinks!
Intergalactic, the next new IP by Naughty Dog, didn't go as well as they would have hoped. The question is, why? Why are so many people so angry about this new IP that we haven't seen? Number 1. The character doesn't look appealing. It's a bold Asian woman, so you know what group that's going to upset, which is the anti-woke slash against DEI crowd.
And as far as with non-binary and transgender, I hope that we just start seeing that the future is here whether we like it or not. We need to not just accept it, but embrace it.
Now, let's get this clear. No one cared about women in video games. We've had Samus, Lara Croft, Heavenly Sword, Bayonetta, Life is Strange, Mirror's Edge, Gree, Alien Isolation all featured women as protagonists. This is not new. Women in video games is not new. That is my point here. The main change is in the landscape of gaming today, because we talk so much about representation in video games, and we are all now, as gamers, more consciously aware of who's being brought into games. And I think that has led to a load of, oh, it's another woman. Oh, it's another woman. Oh, it's another boss girl woman. Oh, it's another boss girl woman. Oh, it's another boss girl woman. And I think people are just a bit more aware of it because it's thrown in your face. The word diversity and how we need more female empowerment has been thrown in people's faces a bit too often, to the point where now everywhere they look, it's shoved down their throats. They are now more consciously aware of who is populating their games, and it's gotten to the point that when they see a woman, now the game is classed as woke or filling the agenda. And that's part of the reason why, even though most people knew that The Witcher 4 would have Ciri as the main character, people are upset. This character, however, fits their criteria of female characters having the androgynous look, meaning that her facial features are neither male nor female. And if you can check this clip here, someone has actually tried to change her to look more feminine. The use of AI here is not great, and she does not look better. Personality wise, based on her conversation with her accomplice, does seem to be that boss girl, I can do what I want attitude, which they also seem to complain about. And this character has even partially been compared to that one woman in Concord with the weird shades. But overall, from this CGI trailer, people are looking at this character and feeling that she's pretty bland. Which leads me to my next point. We have seen this type of game many times before in the past couple of years. If you want to think about how many space games we've had in the past couple of years, we've had Star Wars Jedi Survivor, we've had Starfield, another space exploration game, and we've had the one that feels closest to this, which would be Star Wars Outlaws, which is where you play a woman flying around and doing bounties of some sorts. This has a very similar feel. Now, watching this trailer, all I thought was that I would like to try Star Wars Outlaws, because that is the impression this game gave me. It's not a good look if someone watches a trailer and they think, I've seen this game before, I'd rather play that. Similar to my thoughts of Final Fantasy 16, which tried to be like Devil May Cry. Playing Final Fantasy 16 made me want to go back to Devil May Cry 5, where the combat is just much better. Now, the game is heavily inspired by the 80s, and this is just a cinematic CGI trailer, but from this alone, it hasn't done enough to differentiate itself from the other space games that we've had throughout the past couple of years. I'm sure that as more information comes out and we get more gameplay, it can stand on its own 2 feet, but currently this game just comes across as incredibly generic. Number 3. People just really don't like Neil Druckmann. From what I gather, not only does he come across as pretentious, but he is the reason that Amy Hennig, the creative director of the Uncharted series, Jak and Daxter, and the Legacy of Kain series, was removed from Naughty Dog. From what I've read, Naughty Dog was split into 2. One team led by Amy Hennig, which would work on Uncharted 3, and the other led by Neil Druckmann, who would work on The Last of Us. The Last of Us was clearly well received, and Sony/PlayStation gave Neil Druckmann more creative control over Naughty Dog. Amy Hennig was the creative director of Uncharted 4 during early development, but Neil Druckmann got involved and decided to change the story. And after numerous disputes between those two over creative control, Neil Druckmann, with his good standing with Sony because of The Last of Us, managed to force her out of the company, and anyone else who agreed with her, and anyone else who disagreed with his views. Couple that with the controversial Last of Us Part 2, the numerous Last of Us remakes that we've had from PS3, PS4, PS5, and The Last of Us Part 2, which also got a remaster, and The Last of Us Show, I can see where people are starting to feel that Neil Druckmann is a bit too much up his own ass. What do you think? What reasons do you think people are super upset about Intergalactic's reveal? Do you think it's just from a gameplay point, or do you think it's from a Naughty Dog point? Because the Naughty Dog we knew then is not the Naughty Dog we know now. Leave your comments below. Let's discuss.